Week 2 action from the debut of US Bank Stadium in Minnesota. It's the Packers and the Vikings being recapped right here, early first quarter. Aaron Rodgers dropping back, and he's going to find Jermichael Finley in the corner of the end zone. That pass couldn't have been placed any better by Aaron Rodgers, and that would give the Packers an early 7-0 lead. Still in the first quarter, Sam Bradford dropping back and finding his man Kyle Rudolph on the outside as they convert on a huge third down right there. Still on that same drive, Adrian Peterson breaking a tackle, staying in bounds, and getting the first down. He turned a broken play into something right there. That is what he does best. But the drive would stall after a Sam Bradford incomplete pass right there, and the Vikings would settle for a field goal from Blair Walsh. Next Packers possession on a 3rd and 3, Aaron Rodgers finds his man over the middle to the 5-yard line of Minnesota, and then Eddie Lacy on the outside getting stuffed on 2nd down, and then on 3rd down, Rodgers would throw and overthrow his man, Jordy Nelson. The Vikings with a nice goal line stand right there. They would settle for a field goal, and on the next Packers drive, Aaron Rodgers hooking up with Jordy Nelson right there. Then on a 2nd and 6, Rodgers back from the gun, and he finds his man down the sidelines. A nice toe-tapping catch right there. And then Rodgers would hook up with Eddie Lacy inside the 15-yard line. On a 3rd down and inches, Rodgers would have 5 wide receivers, and he would fire to the outside and have his man for the score. The Packers would go up 17-3. And on the next Vikings possession, there is Sam Bradford making a mistake, and it is a pick 6 for the Green Bay defense. The Vikings could really not get anything going on offense today, and that would not help as Kyle Rudolph going down holding his leg. He would not return to the game. We are still awaiting the test results on his leg right there. On a 3rd down and 10 later on a Packers possession, Rodgers would hook up with Jordy Nelson once again inside the 20 of Minnesota, but Minnesota would hold steady, and that drive would end with a field goal, pushing the Packers' lead to 27-6. Minnesota with some work to do with only 4 minutes left and a 27-6 lead, as there is Bradford incompleting a pass on 3rd down and 7, and a holding call against Green Bay would keep the Vikings' hopes alive. And look at this interception. Wow, what a catch. Bradford looking for Cordarrelle Patterson on the outside. He was very well covered, and that was an even better catch to complete the interception. And the Green Bay Packers knock off the Minnesota Vikings 27-6 and spoil the debut of US Bank Stadium in Minnesota. Final score 27-6. Packers are 1-1. Vikings are 1-1. We shift to Houston, Texas, where the Chiefs travel to NRG Stadium in Houston as early first quarter. It is newly acquired Texan Blake Bortles hooking up with DeAndre Hopkins on the outside, and on a 3rd and 13 later in that drive, there is DeAndre Hopkins once again. Hopkins had himself a game, more on him later. And there is Bortles with a play fake to newly acquired Todd Gurley and hooking up with DeAndre Hopkins once again inside the Kansas City 25. And on a 3rd and 9, Bortles would fire incomplete, looking for Hopkins one too many times right there, and the Texans would have to settle for a field goal that was almost blocked by Kansas City, but it goes through nevertheless. On the next Texans possession, it's Bortles looking and firing, caught. What a catch by the Texans receiver right there. They would convert right there on the 1st down play. And on the next play, Blake Bortles getting picked off, went to a very dangerous pass once again, and this time it did not pay off. Later in the game, Chiefs lead 7-3, and there is Bortles with a great pass to DeAndre Hopkins, who undercuts his defender to make that grab. And on the 3rd and 6, the Texans would once again stall and go for a field goal, but this time it is blocked, and the Chiefs would pick it up, and their special teams come through as Osweiler not able to track down that man right there for the blocked field goal for a touchdown. And there is Fuller on the outside, inside the 40, and into Chiefs territory. Bortles with the play fake on this one, and lobs it to Fuller with one of the best passes of the year in a picture-perfect spot in between two defenders, and Fuller would score on that one. 14-10 ball game. There's Fuller again on the crossing route, and Fuller would go down the sidelines inside Kansas City's 35. Bortles this time under center, play fakes to Gurley, and was going for Fuller, but he was hit as he throws, and he is intercepted for the second time by Kansas City's defense. Kansas City's drive would stall though, and the Texans back on offense. Bortles has a wide open DeAndre Hopkins. He makes a beautiful throw. Hopkins almost getting past his defenders, but he cannot, and they would be down to the 15 of Kansas City. On the next 1st and 10, it's Bortles showing off those legs and getting inside the 15 of Kansas City. 3rd and 3 now, hand off to Gurley. Gurley would go up the middle, and he would not get it. So the Texans did not do well on 3rd down conversions today, and they would settle for a field goal. It would be 17-13 going into the next possession, and once again, there is Fuller. He's down the sidelines to the 20, and inside the 25 of Kansas City. Houston would be within striking distance once again, but would their drive stall again? No. There's DeAndre Hopkins inside the 10 to the 5, and Houston is well within striking distance, and Bortles would finish off the drive with a slant route to DeAndre Hopkins over the middle. On the next drive, there is Fuller on the outside, and the Texans' avalanche would commence. They would win this game by a final score of 41-17. Bortles breaking the single-game passing record with 605 yards, 5 touchdowns on the day. Texans win and improve to 2-0 as they knock off the Chiefs.